All right, thanks for downloading the template. I'm going to show you how you're going to turn the template in this base version and customize it for your team. So what you're going to do first is come down to this background folder. You click that. And the first things we're going to do is change the color scheme. And obviously once you do that for your team, then after you do that, all you have to do is update the names and numbers. But I'm going to show you through the whole process so you know how it works and what I was thinking whenever I name these layers. So we have background gradient. That is the color of this background. So right now it's this gray white gradient. If you double click on the smart object, this will open this up. I do have a few saved in here of just some generic ones. So white, black, navy. Once you have your colors, you can adjust the gradient however you would like down here. We're going to go with the one I'm making. I'm going to make a baseball one. Their team colors are red and black. So we'll just flip that off. We're going to save that. Once that saves, it's going to update the other smart objects in the background. So as you notice, the floor gradient is also updated, so you don't have to do that unless you were wanting a different one. One thing you will have to change based off of how dark the background color is this texture. So if it's that light color, you're going to need this inverted. If it's a dark color, you'll want to turn that off so it's not so pronounced. So moving our way up the background, we have this background words layer. And if you can see back here, there's just some words and texture back here. If you don't like that, by all means turn it off. But I'm going to show you how to update it if you want. We're going to click the smart object. I have name as the school name. We'll update that. We'll just put A, B, C, D there just for the template. And we'll save that. And then you'll notice it'll update all these. This is where I put the city. And so you will have to do a little bit of work on this. So we'll just change that to town. You can obviously put in whatever you want. You can put the kid's name, whatever you want, but this is kind of just how I've done it. And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 we have. So let's delete these out. And then pull one of these down here. And then you're going to highlight all of them. And then you're going to go up to your align. And we're going to just so they distribute evenly there. So we'll save that. So now that'll update over on these. And obviously if you want to fill it up differently, but just for the sake of the tutorial, just to show you how it works, and we'll just leave it at that. The last one is this logo. So I kind of just put this filler in here. So you'll want to get these out of there. I'm going to pull in this school's logo in here. We'll save that smart object and see it'll update here. And then we'll get out of here. We'll save it. And now all this will be updated, as you can see slightly in the back there. So moving our way up, we can close background. We are now on the name here. Double click the smart object. And so there are a couple things we need to do here. First is we need to decide what color we want for this. Again, you can customize it however you want by clicking the gradient down here. I'm going to go with red because I know this is red. You can change your this to any color you want. I'm going to leave this as white. Then we're going to go next. We're going to go to the last name. I have this font in here because it's a free font. I use this tungsten as my font of choice for a lot of things, but specifically on this this template. But it is a paid font, so I want to show you kind of what it looks like with it and without it. And so we'll leave it on this. We'll just change the last name. Let's go Johnson, and we'll change the first name to Steve. And then you can decide if you want the last names how you want them to fill up this. If you have a 3-letter last name, it's obviously going to be a lot smaller. If you have a long last name, you have to decide how you want to fit it into this. I normally try to settle on a size that fits a majority of ones, and then you can shrink down the ones that are longer. So we'll just keep it with that for now. So we'll save that smart object. Then you'll see it's updated here, and it's also updated the reflection down here. So we're done with the name. So we're on the next one, we're on this left side folder. So what we need to do over here is, if we want to change this background color of each of these, you can do that by clicking on them. I think I'm going to leave that kind of this gray color for this one. Let's change his number. Looks like his number is actually 3, so we'll leave that. The team name over here in sport, we'll just leave it as this, but let's change it to like a white or maybe like a gray color. That we'll just say team name baseball, because it's a baseball one. And so you can fill this up if you want to stretch this out over here, or however you want it to fill up. If you want to make it bigger so it lines up to the top and bottom, that's completely up to you. I usually fill it up so that it goes from point to point there. So there you go. And then we have that done. So we need to change out this logo. And again, you can put whatever you want in there. I usually put a logo in this spot. So I'll center that in there. Save it. Updates there. All right. So this side is done. And now what we have to do is we need to drop in our cutouts. So we'll start with this main cutout, and I will pull in the image we are going to use. It's the image that I selected. I kind of just use the previous one as guidelines of how far, how high I want to go. So I'll match up their feet and their head just so that they're all similar. And you can pull in some guidelines if you want to do that. All right, so then once I drop that in there, I hold down Option on a Mac and drag up the Smart Filter, and so that it'll update this on here. This one's pretty subtle, but if you have kind of like a tweak you want and you save it, then all you have to do is just kind of copy it to it again, to each one as you bring them in. So we can get rid of this one. That is gone. And then we need this side image here. So let's bring in the other one here. So we'll shrink this down. I typically like to leave the belt in so you can kind of see the waistline. This one was a half image, so it kind of works out where it's at the bottom here, but if it's a full image, it's no problem, because we're going to, just like the last time, drag that Smart Filter, holding Option on the Mac and letting go. It'll update it, and then we're also going to hold Option on this here, bring it up, and what that's going to do is if their legs or they have something going by, it's going to cut off at the bottom so that it fits in this square here. All right, so that looks pretty good there. That is done. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add the shadows. So this is below the grain level, or the grain layer. I'm going to get my brush out, and I actually have it already on. If your brush looks like this, tilt it down kind of at the angle of the ground there. I'm going to zoom in here. This is a dark background, so I'll start at 50% opacity. And all I'm going to do is right underneath the feet, I'm going to fill that in pretty pretty dark first pass that's right underneath the feet. There you go, and then I'm going to go to 10% opacity, and then now I'm kind of going to feather that out a little bit. And then we're going to go just a couple real big, kind of just for the body. And we'll zoom out. There, it's a little heavy, but not bad. And if you want to get kind of more detailed with it, if you need to, you can put an adjustment layer on top of this cutout. And get brush down a little smaller here. And you can add a little bit more shadow on their shoes or cleats. With this, these are inside, so he was just wearing his shoes. So there you have it. With the shadow, the last thing we have up here is just kind of this lens flare color. Right now it's on white, essentially. If you want to, you can tweak the color so that it matches. Maybe like if there's like we might make this like a little bit red. But if you had a complementary color, you can see how it kind of just changes a little bit. So all the way to blue to green. We're kind of maybe keeping this red. And sometimes it can be hard to see here. So because it's on screen, if you want to go up to normal or normal and 100 opacity, you can kind of see it better. So if we want to dial it in a little bit closer to maybe the school red, there we go. We can do that. Back to screen, and then turn down this opacity to where we like it. That looks pretty good. So there you go. Then you'll save it. Make sure you save the file ahead of time so that you have the base template down. But now that you have this, each additional teammate you have on this, you already have the color scheme, the logos, and everything in. All you have to do is update the players, change the names, add the shadows, and export, and you'll be done. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, let me know below. Thanks.